Good morning, Manchester United fans, because this summer, it won't just be another transfer window. It could define the next era of this football club. As Manchester United push toward the Champions League places, something much bigger is unfolding behind the scenes. Decisions, pivotal decisions. Decisions that won't just affect next season, but the direction of the entire project at Old Trafford. And at the center of it all, there is Michael Carrick, an interim manager who arrived quietly, but may not be living quietly at all. There are contracts expiring. There are managerial questions hovering in the background. There are European ambitions hanging in the balance. And there is one name, a legendary name, who might be removing himself from the race entirely. This is not just about finishing top 4. This is about power, influence, and the future of Manchester United. Let's get into it. Manchester United are set for an interesting summer as the club aim to finish in the Champions League places. Manchester United face several pivotal decisions this summer. While the club pursues a Champions League place in the Premier League, United must also address off-field matters that will shape next season. The encouraging start that interim boss Michael Carrick has enjoyed at Old Trafford means United remain in contention for the top 4. There are remaining 11 league fixtures to concentrate on. The club is targeting a return to Europe's elite competition. And here's where it gets personal. Carrick will aim to utilize the remaining matches to persuade the United hierarchy to award him the manager's position permanently. Yes, this is an audition. Numerous coaches have been linked with the vacancy, though the club legend could secure the role for himself. It has been claimed that Zinedine Zidane is nearing a return to management, while Carrick has highlighted one of the obstacles United will encounter this summer. Here, MEN Sport examines some of the stories surrounding the club, and one of the biggest, Michael Carrick has indicated that Manchester United are poised to lose a key player in the upcoming transfer window. This follows the announcement that Casemiro will leave the club at the end of his contract. Despite the seasoned midfielder experiencing a resurgence this season, he could prove challenging to replace. Carrick didn't hold back when speaking about his importance. Yeah, well, listen, it's an important position, I think, say the United boss. Not being biased, obviously, as being a midfielder, but I think it is an important position to try and tie everything together. And what I'm about to tell you might not have been made for the mainstream just yet. But here on United Top News, we don't just react to headlines. We read between them, and something is shifting. Behind the scenes, Manchester United are monitoring the situation of RB Leipzig winger Yan Diomande. Not publicly chasing, not aggressively bidding, monitoring, studying, calculating, and here's the detail that changes everything. Internally, there is an expectation that this valuation could fall this summer, not rise, fall, closer to that 50 to 60 million range. Now pause there for a moment, because in today's market, that difference is massive. That shift in price transforms a maybe into a real opportunity. Right now, Leipzig's valuation doesn't fully align with what the market might realistically support long term. Football economics are fluid. Contracts tick down, pressure builds, negotiation leverage shifts, selling clubs soften, and patient clubs wait. This is not desperation from United. This is not panic buying to calm funds. This is not a rushed decision. This is calculated patience. And that should excite you more than any flashy rumor. And that should excite you more than any flashy rumor, because it suggests planning, it suggests structure, it suggests a recruitment model that is not motion but strategic. Now let's talk about the profile. Why Diamande? Why this name? He's dynamic, direct, explosive in transition, a left-sided attacker who stretches defensive lines and forces fullbacks into uncomfortable positions. He isolates, he accelerates, he drives at defenders instead of recycling possession. And in Manchester United system, that has sometimes lacked natural width, sometimes lacked unpredictability in 1-versus-1 situations. That matters. He doesn't just hug the touchline, he manipulates space, he commits defenders, he creates chaos, and chaos, in the right moments, wins football matches. But here's the part that really stands out: the wording around the situation. United would have been very interested. Would have been. That phrasing isn't accidental. That suggests internal discussions have already happened. Scouting reports have already been completed. Background checks have already been filed. Clubs don't casually expect price drops. Sometimes in football, it's not the goals that decide your destiny. It's the decisions made behind the closed doors. So picture this. Sunday afternoon, March 15. The Premier League is in full flow. The cameras are on Old Trafford. Manchester United take on Aston Villa in what could be a decisive clash in the race for the Champions League. But hundreds of miles away, in Castelldefels, that peaceful coastal town just south of Barcelona, Marcus Rashford might be watching. Not as a United player, not as a Barcelona hero, but as a man waiting for clarity, waiting for direction, waiting for something bigger than a football match. Because while United and Villa battle it out in England, something even more important is happening in Catalonia. Across Barcelona, more than 140,000 club members, the socials, will be heading to the polls. They're not voting for a striker, they're not voting for a manager, they are voting for a president. And that decision could define Marcus Rashford's future. Juan Laporta has stepped down to trigger the election process, as club regulations require. A management commission is now temporarily running the club. Campaigns are underway. Speeches are being made. Alliances are forming. And suddenly, Rashford's situation is no longer just about football. It's about politics. Laporta is facing serious challenges. Victor Font, Marc Syria, Xavier Villanueva. Each candidate must secure 2,321 signatures to even appear on the ballot. But here's where it gets interesting. The biggest dividing line between the projects isn't a player, it's deco. As journalist Jody Carn explains, the main difference between Victor Font and Laporta is the sports director position. Font doesn't want deco, but Laporta does. And with Deco in place, Rashford's future feels clearer. Without him, things could change. That's how fragile the situation is. One election, one executive decision, one sporting director, and suddenly a €30 million transfer hangs in the balance. Now let's talk about football. Because politics aside, Rashford has delivered. 10 goals, 13 assists in 34 appearances, even while dealing with a minor knee issue. Under Hansi Flick, he has rediscovered rhythm, confidence, sharpness. Adapting to Barcelona's philosophy isn't easy, especially for a Premier League player. The movement is different, the tempo is different, the positional discipline is different. But Rashford has embraced it, and Flick is reportedly very happy. There is no doubt about that. Under the loan agreement between Barcelona and Manchester United, the deal is simple: €30 million. trigger the clause, make it permanent. But reports in Spain suggest Barcelona would like to renegotiate, perhaps lower the fee, perhaps use Rashford's desire to stay as leverage. Manchester United, they're not budging. The price is the price. The agreement was made. And from United's side, the situation remains exactly as it was last summer. No discounts, no reopening talks, no emotional decisions. There were whispers, rumors suggesting that if Michael Carrick remains head coach, he might welcome Rashford back. But inside Old Trafford, those suggestions are reportedly being dismissed. First of all, no final decision has been made about who will manage next season. Second, if Barcelona trigger the clause, it won't matter anyway. And third, Rashford's chapter at United may already feel complete. His last appearance came in a Europa League win against Victoria Pleasant. Since then, silence. And sometimes in football, silence says everything. Cole Palmer's closest friends has claimed that one day the Chelsea star will wear red. Is it fantasy? Is it destiny? Or is it just social media noise? Well, we are breaking it all down. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's really unpack this properly. Cole Palmer to Manchester United one day. Now, before anyone gets carried away, nothing is happening right now. There is no bid, no negotiations, no advanced talks. But here's why this story exploded. Palmer's close friend, rapper Tunde Olayinka, posted a picture with him while they were on holiday in Dubai. And the caption? That's what set everything off. He said, "One day I will get CP," that's Cole Palmer, "to United, back home where he belongs. Go ask him who his favorite team is." Now that's not a journalist, not an agent, not a club executive. But when it's someone in the player's inner circle, people start paying attention. And here's why it matters. Palmer was born and raised in Wythenshawe, Manchester. He grew up a United fan. So when reports recently suggested he was feeling homesick, missing home, missing Manchester, that's when speculation really caught fire. The rumors got so loud that Chelsea manager Liam Rosnier had to address them publicly. And when a manager is forced to shut something down in a press conference, that tells you the noise was serious. But here's the reality check. Chelsea see Palmer as untouchable. Not available for the right price, not will listen to offers, just untouchable. And then there is the contract. He signed until 2033. 2033. That means Chelsea controls everything. Any club, including United, would have to pay an astronomical fee to even start the conversation.